Hello and welcome back to the channel. This time we're going to go through one of the most meta heroes and definitely a hero that has a really high win rate right now, and that hero is Omniknight, right? Omniknight, at least for me, it always felt like he was not as good as Abaddon. The two heroes are quite similar, and I always felt like Omniknight was just a really bad version of Abaddon, right? His laning was not that good, his mid game was not that good, big cooldowns. Definitely not worth the pick if you had to choose one of the two heroes. But right now in patch 7.31, he got some really good rework, some really good buffs, and definitely the two heroes are quite similar right now, right? And definitely Omniknight feels a bit stronger, but Abaddon is equally good, and they're actually good under different circumstances, right? So as usual, we're going to go through the hero fundamentally. We're going to see a lot of laning states. We're going to explain why Omniknight is stronger in the mid game, whereas Abaddon is stronger in the laning stage, in the late game. And hopefully by the end of the video, you're able to play Omniknight, have solid itemization in the mid game, a little bit food for thought. And yeah, let's jump into that. But of course, before we jump into that, please do subscribe, like, and comment. Everything actually helps me and keeps me motivated to go further. And yeah, let's jump into that.
Moving up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster.
So, as usual, we're going to talk about the changes, fundamentally what they did, talk a little bit about the skill bit, right? So, what I actually want to talk about Omniknight is that you can get any skill bit that you want, right? You can start with Purification, you can start with Hammer of Purity, you can go for Grace. Anything is acceptable, right? Because the hero is quite versatile in the lane stage, and I think this is one of the reasons why, if he's hard, right? He might be hard for this region. So let's talk about Purification, right? Purification is a really strong nuke. It deals like pure damage, it's heal and damage at the same time. It's really good, and usually you want to combine the spells with a hero like PA, Anti-Mage, right? The type of heroes that can just blink on someone else, and they are like remotely squishy, so you just purify, they're on top of the other heroes. It's really good. The second thing is Heavenly Grace. Heavenly Grace, I think it's probably one of the best spells in the game, mainly because not only it dispels, but most importantly, it pierces, it goes through BKB, right? So the difference between Abaddon and Omniknight is like Heavenly Grace goes through BKB, whereas a Photic Shield does not go through BKB. So you have something like a Tiny, something like a Phantom Assassin, he uses BKB, he goes in, he gets gripped by a Bane, and then you cannot Photic Shield him, but you can actually get the Heavenly Grace, right? Of course, it got a lot of buffs. Right now, if you were to see, it gives bonus strength, HP, regen per debuff, so that means the more debuffs you get to remove, the tankier it becomes, right? The third spell is the new spell, the Hammer of Purity. It's pretty much throw a hammer, it kind of slows, and this is what I like to actually pick up first as an item with Orb of Venom, right? You just throw that, and then all of a sudden you just run him down, similar to Abaddon, right? And if you have seen the Abaddon guide, this is what you usually do. Maybe go level 1 Shield, maybe go level 1 Curse of Avernus, and you just run people down. Level 2 is your big power spike, right? With Omniknight, you have a level 1 power spike, because this is already enough to actually run people down. With Abaddon, it's not enough. Maybe sometimes you want to go Shield, sometimes Curse of Avernus, but definitely level 2 power spike from Abaddon. For Abaddon, it's way stronger than Omniknight, right? Now, the ultimate, I think it's really good versus heroes that don't really want to buy Nullifier, like Tiny, like Sven. This type of heroes don't really want to buy Nullifier, right? Maybe Wraith King, I want to say, or if they're gonna buy it, they're gonna buy it later on, right? Because, spells like Tornado or Use, anything that dispels fully counters Omniknight, because Guardian Angel is actually dispellable, Heavenly Grace is actually dispellable. So this is like the difference between Omniknight and Abaddon, right? Lastly, I want to say that Omniknight's spells are higher cooldown than Abaddon. If you were to see Purification 12 seconds, Heavenly Grace in the end 14 seconds, whereas Mist Coil a fixed 5.5 seconds, and of course a Photic Shield scales really good. Now, what I usually do with Omniknight, and I got that from the Abaddon mentality, right, is you get the slow, pretty much, and the Orb of Venom and run people down. And what you want to do is get to level 2 before them, and then probably you're gonna skill something like Heavenly Grace or maybe Purification. It depends, right? It depends if you can actually remove important debuffs and just run them down. Unlike Abaddon, Omniknight doesn't really have the luxury of playing from behind the lane, because you see Purification has a big cooldown. And you can't really use Purification to keep something like, I don't know, a Terrorblade alive, right? Whereas Abaddon, if it has something like a Morphing, something like a DB, and the lane doesn't work out, you can just go more levels in Mist Coil or just constantly, you know, regen mangoes and clarities and just keep your safe laner full HP. Now, I want to talk a little bit about itemization on Omniknight. Now, the difference between Omniknight is that while I like in both heroes' adrenals, Omniknight feels a lot more squeezy because Abaddon has actually his ultimate, right? With his ultimate here, if you get jumped, you will not die. Whereas with Omniknight, I struggle a lot versus heroes like Storm, Queen of Pain, heroes that can just jump me and kill me. So I find many times going for items like maybe Yules, maybe Ghost Scepters to make sure that I'm gonna be alive and then be able to use my spells. It's really important to understand that positioning with Omniknight is just so harder than Abaddon, just because if they cast you, they're gonna kill you. And of course, you're in position 5. You don't really get to have a lot of gold to buy defensive items. So definitely, if you play Omniknight, you must be so much more careful than Abaddon. Now, what we'll do is show some examples of position 5 Omniknight, and only position 5, because I feel like Omniknight is only position 5. In the position 4 role, it's not like he's gonna farm more. Sure, he's gonna get a little bit more levels, but definitely that's not worth the role. And yeah, we're gonna show some examples how to lane, mindset, itemization, and hopefully by the end of the video, you're gonna be able to lane at least as Omniknight. So the first replay that I wanna show is Omniknight with Phantom Assassin, right? This is a really good combination. You can understand why. Double slow. Phantom Assassin actually has, let's say, weak laning stage. Omniknight is kind of fine, right? And Omniknight loves to play with heroes that can be aggressive, that has a slow, that can close the gap between the two of these two heroes. And Omniknight definitely is a hero that, you know, can run people down early on, because if you see has like high damage, high armor, high health, certainly a really solid laner. What I want to say also is that while 50%, like whenever I get to pick Omniknight, 1 out of 2 times I always get a Phantom Assassin with me, and it's a little bit weird because I like to have an Abaddon when I have a Phantom Assassin, mainly because Phantom Assassin is a low cooldown hero in the mid game, and so is Abaddon, whereas Omniknight, as we said previously, has a little bit higher cooldowns, right? If you see like Purification 12 seconds, Heavenly Grace 14 seconds, right? And you see my itemization every single time. If you see like the Don't Break Your Guide or the Pods or like Abaddon, I love these items. If I feel remotely that I have kill potential, I usually go for this exact item build. So what you want to do is really simple. Get level 2 before them and force them first, like before they get level, because you have double the spells, okay? Now, what I want to say is that while Omniknight is a strong laner, unlike Abaddon, he cannot 1v2 lanes. That means that the best thing that you can do is to trade with the enemy support, right? Now, right now, I have a Doom. Doom, like, used to be quite squeezy, but right now it has a lot of armor. If you get this, he has a lot of armor. And of course, Abaddon is not, you know, he's not quite strong to trade inside the creep wave. So, I want to trade with Clockwork, but at the same time, I don't want to. Because Clockwork, you know, if I'm out of the creep wave, he's gonna battery assault, I'm gonna lose a lot of health. So what I wanna do is like stick to the creep wave, get level 2, and then force initiative. It's also a little bit funny because I have an Orb of Venom, and so does PA, so that's kind of lost gold there, okay? Like it's like we just wasted a lot of gold. Staying nearby, and of course I'm like gonna go a little bit fast forward, getting level 2. We're level 2, they're level 1, okay? Of course we got to get first blood, but this is like irrelevant. We get to level 2, and you see, he wastes his battery assault. And of course, what I'm gonna do is go for Purification. Because there is nothing actually to dispel in this lane. I've seen a lot of guides, a lot of people saying in Omniknight tips, you know, go for Heavenly Grace. Yeah, probably you should max the spell unless you get to play versus Tuskar or something. But right now, you see, Purification, double the damage to heroes, right? And of course, run them down, and we can run them down, right? It's quite simple. Out of position, PA can actually join me. If I actually start trading with Clockwork and he's quite low, PA, Anti-Mage, this type of heroes can generally can obviously join me really fast. So that's why Omniknight is really good with this type of heroes. And the second thing that you want to abuse is 2v1 scenario. That means this Doom is alone, and you see how aggressive I want to play. I don't want him to be inside the creep wave. Boom, boom, boom. And you see he's level 3. But the problem with Doom is that no matter how many levels he gets, until he gets level 6, he's not that strong. You see bad result from Clockwork, but it's so easy to disengage because I tried to play inside the creep wave. Okay? Like I feel like we tried to kill Clockwork here, but that's like a little bit miscommunication. And definitely, I'm just waiting for my level 3. I'm gonna go a little bit fast forward here. You see I'm just trading and look, go back a little bit here. I'm going for Purification level 2. Again, there is nothing to dispel. You know, sure, Infernal Blades, like whatever, at least at this point. And of course, Heavenly Grace does not really make sense with PA, just because I get to play with an agility hero. Heavenly Grace is really good if you have some like Life Stealer, Sven, Wraith King, Tiny, you know, strength heroes that not only get a lot of health, but at the same time get a lot of damage, okay? I disengage easily because this, let's say, an easy lane, they are quite tanky, and definitely we can lose this lane if we misplay. And I really want to show the power of Purification, a spell that's a little bit misunderstood. People say do not skill it, but I highly disagree with that. You see how I just trade inside and just try to, I just try to use Purification like a harass spell, right? Like back, Purification, disengage. And of course, you always need to have an extra sentry to deward your small camp. You see, like, we don't really go direct for the kill, just because they're too tanky. We try to slowly build it up, right? Purification, deal the damage, disengage. You know, we try to force for the kill here. I think, I guess, we miss-execute a lot, right? And of course, look at that, let's go back. You see how confident we feel, because I still have a stick, I still have a mango, I still have Purification. And of course, look at that. Purification, my PA. Good kill. What we're gonna do is I could actually stack this one, but I feel like, okay, I just want to pull the creep wave back. Make sure, you know, if you've seen this channel, we love single pulls, right? And the creep wave is gonna come here, and of course we are going to force the initiative because we're in a lane that we're doing so well, and we just want to keep forcing, okay? And you see how I just keep as a skill point here, but I feel like this is more like a bait, you know. 100% used to go for Heavenly Grace. This is more like a habit that I'm into that. Going a little fast forward. Right now you see that I don't really feel that confident forcing because I'm like half HP, using the salve, and I'm like, okay, maybe we can actually go for that, okay? Really fast. Perfect. And now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stack. The reason why I want to stack here is so I can pull the next creep wave 7 minutes in. I can get jungle items. I can give something like a Possessed Mask, Chipped Vest for my Phantom Assassin, and then I'm good to go. And in the mid game, obviously, I want to play with a hero like Necrophos, right? And you see I'm about to pull, and look at that. I really want to show you that. And I want to show that from the Phantom Assassin perspective, right? Look at that. I have only one Heavenly Grace, 1 point on that. You see how I just Heavenly Grace instantly, right? And look at that. Triple man Purification, a lot of damage. Why wouldn't you love this spell, right? And we just run them down easily. Right now, you see the game is a stomp. We've won all 3 lanes. It's so easy, right? Let's go back to see that again, because do not forget that Omniknight, just like Abaddon, it is a hero that you react to everything. So you need to have some, let's say, fast reflexes. You're about to pull a lot of heroes instantly, use all your spells, and then, you know, I want to say that the game is over on the spot, but obviously because I have a really good mid matchup and the offlane did greatly. We just run them down, really good, simple, a really, let's say, hard lane, because there's not, I don't get to play versus a Crystal Maiden or Apparition or, I don't know, a hero that can easily run him down. I get to play versus a Clockwork and the Doom, both heroes high health, high health heroes that I don't really have enough damage, and you see how slowly and steadily, even after level 2, we have to show some patience to actually run them down and win the lane. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense, but let's jump to another example. So the second example that I want to show is I'm playing Omniknight, and right now I have another assassin. I have Templar Assassin. I think Templar Assassin it's not that easy to play with, you know, and I went for a different approach, which ended up being wrong, right? I didn't go for the Orb of Venom. I thought, okay, Templar Assassin, he has a level 6 power spike. I'm gonna let him get levels, and then he can just go to the jungle. I'm gonna take the lane, and you know, we're strong in the mid game, okay? And it actually didn't work out because I feel like we could just do so much better in the lane, and I think like if I had Orb of Venom, it would just be so much better, okay? So the lane starts. And this is a moment right now. I just realized, let's go back a little bit, and I underestimated actually Templar Assassin as a hero. Do you see how much damage we did to the Brewmaster? Because we have a Brewmaster Techies lane, I'm like, okay, that's a lot of damage, you know, probably a lot of things to dispel, and then he just melts and 50% of the HP just goes away. I'm like, okay, maybe I should get Orb of Venom right now, and, you know, but I felt like, okay, it's too late, man, just don't buy Orb of Venom, you know, keep buying consumables, and that was actually a mistake. So, I actually have a lane ward here, and the reason why I do that is whenever I see Techies out of position, we might be able actually to harass a little bit the Brewmaster. And unlike the previous example, Brewmaster is not as strong, right, as Doom, for example. He's not that high armor hero. He's high health, but if he actually does, you know, tries to kill me, I can actually dispel anything, you know. I can dispel Club, I can dispel Brew. So that's his main source of power, and I can just get to dispel that. But of course, you see how Techies is here. I'm like, okay, maybe we can just do some sneaky play. And I feel like I played the lane wrong. Again, with the Orb of Venom, it would be better. But I felt like, okay, wait for level 6 on Templar Assassin, then we can just run them down, right? And what I thought is, okay, you trade good with Techies, maybe you can just run him down, okay? And then the TA versus Brewmaster is a really good TA matchup, because Brewmaster doesn't really have a way to actually pierce his refractions. Just run him down, let him get level 6 really fast, and you see, all I'm gonna do is harass the Techies, maybe try to deny some XP with some half pull on the small camp, and that's it pretty much, okay? And this, like, okay, you see how we take advantage of this 2v1? This is like the way to sometimes win the lane. Techies is out of position, you know, I just threw him out of the lane, and this guy is all of a sudden alone. And if I had Orb of Venom, he would be dead here. Unfortunately, I mean, practically he's dead. Like, even if we don't get the kill, there is not much he can do, okay? I'm trying to pull here. I'm not really, I didn't really succeed that. But you see how I'm just gonna stack and then deny full creep wave, because right now I'm not trying to single pull. I'm playing from the mentality to deny as much XP to get this TA level 6 before Brewmaster gets level 6. So right now I get to die here, and even though I get to die, and I think I just didn't press my buttons. I could press Heavenly Grace. Even though I get to die here, it doesn't really matter, because they waste a lot of resources and a lot of time to actually get me killed. In the meantime, my TA gets almost level 5, he's gonna get level 6, and once he's level 6, we're gonna throw Brewmaster out of the lane. And the problem with Brewmaster, like, his problem is that he can't really come back. He will not be able to lane, because there are gonna be traps all over the place, and he can't really go to the jungle. It's just so inefficient, just so slow. Going to the mid lane, bottom refill, that's a little bit of an immortal thing. And of course, running top instantly to see under what situation is my TA, right? And you see, the plan is the same. Try to harass him as much as possible. You see how I went Heavenly Grace, level 2, and the reason why I do that is there's a lot of things to dispel. Again, I'm gonna, like, protect my TA, the mentality. I don't see how Purification is gonna help me, especially where there's so many things to actually dispel. And you see how I'm just trying to bait, and just me being here means that this Brewmaster cannot already lane, because he's already in a really rough situation. Maybe if I just hammer him, and I already regretted hammer the Techies, but I felt, okay, you know, it's a small cooldown spell. It is a small cooldown spell. If you see, so maybe I'm just gonna use it off cooldown, just harass as much as possible. And of course, again, I misplayed a lot. The lane is already, like, really good. You see, like, the individual matchup, TA versus Brewmaster, already really strong. The fact that we just isolated Techies was really good. And that's it, you know. Right now, half pull, deny full creep wave for my enemy offlaner. That means it's guaranteed already that my TA is gonna get level 6 before Brewmaster. At this moment, I think the lane is really won, but I'm gonna show, like, a little bit more. Heavenly Grace here, instant dispel, right? Instant dispel right now. So I'm just gonna tank up a little bit, right? I'm just gonna tank up a little bit. I'm just gonna pew. Okay, I'm just hitting, and of course I cannot get to kill. Salving my TA, and you see how we're actually so close for my TA to get level 6. So he gets level 6, you see I'm just trying to run away for him to get level 6. And once he's level 6, I place a lane ward. and traps are about to, we're gonna place traps and we're just gonna run them down quite easily. I'm just gonna show like the next minute a little bit. Attacking. And of course, they try to make an attempt. Instant Heavenly Grace, and let me show you that a little bit, right? You see how I have it all? I'm so confident. I have it already level 2. I'm so confident that it's gonna be so beneficial in the lane. Heavenly Grace, and just run them down. This guy dies. And right now, you see how the problem, like this is a problem with Omniknight, big cooldowns. With Abaddon, I could be able to to Aphotic Shield already, but big cooldowns, and you see how Heavenly Grace, the lane is won. I'm gonna show net worth, right? 4k net worth on my 7 minutes in Templar Assassin, and Brewmaster literally has actually no game. In the mid game, what you want to do is probably play with your Pango, probably play with your Storm, let TA farm, and of course, we have Roshan attempt. Item-wise, maybe even go for something like Yules, maybe go for something like Ghost Scepter, right? Everlance is really good because they can't really catch you, but I'm suggesting these items in case something like a Troll is on top of you, or maybe you get Yules by less strike and then it's hard to disengage, so maybe you want Yules. You need to adapt to the game. If you feel like it's a free game, get the Everlance. Lotus Orb isn't bad this game because you can just get to dispel a lot of things like Brew, like Dual Breath, like Silences, a lot of things to dispel, but shows that if I had Orb of Venom, the laning stage would be so much better. Sadly, I didn't buy it. I should buy it after I saw the meld damage, but of course, mistakes happen all the time. Let's jump to another example to see that the laning stages are not always that good. Right now, I want to show an example where things didn't really work out, and while we started under the best circumstances, I sometimes just need to calculate everything, how much damage can I actually absorb, and sometimes, it's just not working out because you just miscalculated, right? So I get to have Clinkz right now, that's my safe laner, and I get to play again versus Techies and versus Tuskar position 3. I actually thought it was a Sand King in the mid lane, so I got Orb of Venom, right? I got Orb of Venom because I felt, okay, Sand King can't really fight you back, we're gonna right-click him a lot. Clinkz is really good versus Sand King. Actually, any range hero is really good versus Sand King because level 1 you can just get to right-click him a lot. And they can't really fight you back. Sand King requires more levels. Anyway, and right now I see Tuskar, and I just got a little bit disappointed because Tuskar, you see, he's kinda quite health, right? As a hero, a lot of armor, a lot of damage. So the moment I saw that, I'm like, okay, probably this Orb of Venom is not the best, right? And of course, you see how Orb of Venom, though, at least, I feel like the moment I saw Tuskar, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm just gonna right-click Techies as much as possible and then leave Clinkz and Tuskar in the 1v1 scenario. Getting the first blood, dewarding, and the lane starts. I felt really confident in the beginning because we got the first blood, we got I got to deward a lot, so that means a lot of XP. And it's hard to just right-click him down. It's a 2v1. He can't really fight me back because I have my position 1 to back me up. I felt really confident. Really confident about this lane generally. And I'm like, okay, level 1, run him down. Techies here, and I'm like, okay, I felt like Clinkz is gonna back me up, and you see all of a sudden I just died, And then I went for Heavenly Grace, level 2, which I regret a lot. Because Purification, just like previous example, actually in the first example with the Doom Clockwork, makes a lot more sense this lane. There's not that much to spell, and I need to approach the lane slowly, because Clinkz doesn't really have any nuke to help me get the kill directly. And I have to take the slow approach. The best thing I can do right now is bully Techies, right? But I felt, okay, as long as I'm under tower, they can't really run me down. There you go. And I get level 3. And this is like the moment where I felt, what should I go? I think I went for Purification, and I should have Purification level 3 by now. And this is like one of my biggest mistakes. I kind of throw the lane, right? It's not like it's going bad, but it should go way better. Look at that. I underestimated how much damage they have. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just gonna bait. I'm gonna Purify. My Clinkz is just gonna join me. And I just underestimated how tanky Tuskar is and how how much damage I have. Right now, the best thing I can do is actually stay behind and just constantly try to sip regen for my Clinkz. Just gonna go to the jungle. I don't think we can actually win the lane right now. I'm just gonna show the next 2-3 minutes, right? Look at that. He just dies. And I think, again, I just misplayed there. I really want to show that. And this is how to tilt your carry, okay? Look at that. They just join him, kill him. And this is what I should wait, right? I should actually wait for Heavenly Grace. I should actually wait for Suicide and disengage a little bit so I can Heavenly Grace him. And just because I'm going to remove a debuff, that means he's going to tank up a little bit more. So do you see that? I should actually go like here and then Heavenly Grace this guy without getting silenced. And then I'm just going to remove something. He's going to get more strength and he's going to actually be able to escape. Right now, the lane is over, right? There's no way we actually come back from that. We need a rotation to gank from that. And right now, I can't even go and pull, for example, because he's gonna be alone. You see how they just run us down? We get the return kill here, which is as good as it can get. But you see, like, right now at this point, we just ask for a rotation, right? And let's just go to the mid lane, get some XP. That's the best I can do. I need my level 6, I need my level 7, because I usually don't like skilling ulti at level 6, and I think if I have level 4 at level 7 with Heaven Grace is really good because I get to play with NS in the mid lane, strength hero. There's a lot of things to remove here, like Gast, like Boros, right? And definitely, this is what I'm supposed to do, but you see how I just miscalculated. I shouldn't go for Heaven Grace, just go for level 2 purification. And I think we actually might have a shot if I just play a little bit better, if I actually don't force Tuskar, which is a high health hero. I just underestimated too much. And even though we actually got to win this game, right? You see, like, we kind of stopped, and of course, like, that's just, like, say, to be expected because we have great, like, Omniknight's great at counter initiation, right? And if you see my itemization, because I really want to talk about itemization right now, I just went for mech. There's no way they can just catch me. I was just too far behind, and of course, we have the high ground vision because we have an NS, and we get to see everything, so I was able to position myself really good. It was more like a meme. Like, if you see, like, I should probably go for something like a Load Sorbit's game. He's really good versus Wyvern, but I never had the gold. Like, if you see my gold, I'm just doing really bad right now, gold-wise. But definitely a game that I felt like I did really good in the mid game, but in the lane stage, I just throw that away because I just underestimate how much damage I have. I feel like I could just turn the fight around, bait them in. Currently, I just got killed. I want to show one last example and talk a little bit about my final thoughts on Omniknight. This is the last example that I want to show, and again, I'm playing Omniknight. The build is kind of classic so far. Like, I usually go for the Orb of Venom, and I get to play with the Tiny. These two heroes are like solid combo. As we said previously, Omniknight loves high health strength heroes that can get kited, right? And can, just because Heavenly Grace can just go through BKB. Anyway, we're just gonna talk about that later on. And right now I get to play versus a Mars and a Weaver. I thought that Weaver was gonna be position 4. So the reason why I would be fine with Weaver position 4 is that if you've seen, like, the Abaddon guide as well, Orb of Venom, even if he's Sukuchi, right now Sukuchi has a big cooldown and he can't really fight him back. So even if you use Sukuchi, I can still run him down. 15 seconds just too much, but it ended up being a position 4 Mars and a position 3 Weaver, and that's kind of annoying because I can't really get to trade with Mars. Like, he's too tanky for me to deal with, and you said just go for Purification level 1. Probably not the best spell, Purification level 1. Maybe I can survive. Anyway, I feed First Blood and the lane starts, okay? And the best thing I can do right now is actually somehow trade with Mars, and I think this is going to be really hard lane because Tiny doesn't really scale that well in the lane. Just like Omniknight, we don't really have that big of kill potential, and they just scale way better, So even if we get level 2, we can't really kill Mars too much HP. We don't really have a solid lockdown for Weaver, especially for a core Weaver, where she naturally is going to have more health because it has more stats, right? And so the best thing I can do is actually be in the lane and try to deny as much as possible. Maybe trade a little bit with Mars so I can absorb some damage away from my Tiny. You see, I really want to show that because this is like how you win lanes. Even though we didn't really end up winning the lane, look at that. Double avalanche, and then walk here, double purification. Slowly and steadily, we're gonna build up. If we're gonna find the kill, we need to slowly build it up, okay? Otherwise, it's just not gonna happen. You said I'm just gonna trade with him, purify, and of course disengage. Sadly, the problem with I didn't really understand it until this happened. Weaver can instantly connect with Mars, whereas Tiny is just slower as a hero. So I need to be even more careful. I use myself, and of course I sip another salt for my Tiny, right? Because Tiny is the type of hero that I need to babysit a lot. 20-minute Jhin, the only thing I need to do is make sure I'm just gonna dispel anything, and he's just gonna run them down. Okay, so I need to be super sacrificial when I get to play with the Tiny. And of course, you see how I'm just getting bullied right now, and I need to be super careful because Mars is level 2, I'm still level 1, so I need to be super cautious. Perfect. I get my level 2, and you see how I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to get. I went for Heavenly Grace because in this lane, just because I've had First Blood, and the lane is not really going that well, right? I'm playing from the behind mentality. You see how it's just so easy for me if I get out of position to die, okay? But the lane is not over yet, you know. I feel like maybe we can just do something. And the only thing that I need to do is make sure that my Tiny is gonna have a lot of levels, right? Blocking the camp because I don't want them to stack and pull. And you see how Mars is not really being shown. So I'm like, maybe that's a really good food for thought. Maybe you can actually force something here, okay? I see. Okay, let's go back a little bit to something here. Do you see how I just get to right click a couple of times here? Because I feel like this distance is a lot. It's not like I'm here like previously where I just died. The moment I get closer to the lane, I just don't like it at all. Okay, I just don't like it. I'm gonna play safe. And purification and just instantly disengage. Let's go back a little bit. This is a really good TP from Luna, but you see how we just find him, and then even if we don't find the kill, he goes for me, okay? I'm going slowly, and look at that. This is the strength of Omniknight / Abaddon. You just bait him in, purification, and this exact bait is what didn't work out in the previous example, right? Where I just tried to bait it without purification, wasn't enough, underrated the damage, and that was it. Just be working here, stacking, and of course I get to stack because I have a Tiny with me. And again, I think I'm not really sure if that's my fault that I left him alone. Maybe it is. Okay, maybe it is. Because again, the way to win the lanes is find 2v1 opportunities, and they actually got the opportunity. They saw the opportunity and they just took advantage, and all of a sudden, this actually lost lane on the spot. A huge creep wave, a lot of XP got lost. Sadly for my Tiny, right? We lost a lot of things, and of course, I need to go bot. I need to go again to my Tiny. As long as my Tiny is here, I need to be there to babysit him. Okay. Really good Avatos there from Tiny. Really good Avatos. Slowly and steadily, we're gonna build it up. And you see how I really want to go bot. You see how we have this ward here. I need to, like, generally it can be here or here. It's up to you where you wanna place it. I just want to see if this Weaver is gonna be alone. Maybe we actually make something happen if she's alone. You see how I just try to hit here, purification. We get bullied. I have 2 salves. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna salve you, man. It's okay. And of course, we maybe actually try to make one more play slowly and steadily. I just want you to realize that Omniknight is not as direct as Abaddon, where you just go for 4 hits, you know, and just apply the debuff from the curse and you just run people down, you know. The moment he misses spears, it's like go time. Go time. And we just get the kill, and even if we don't get to find the Weaver, right, it doesn't matter because, you know, Tiny is just a stronger hero in the mid game. I get to fit again, nice. Tiny is just a stronger hero in the mid game, and if he gets something like a Shadow Blade and the Echo Saber, he can just do so here. I didn't see that coming. I'm actually curious to see if they have wards. No, like they have vision here. That's interesting. But again, even if you get to lose a lane, just like Dawnbreaker, Abaddon, and Omniknight, the strength of their heroes is actually in the mid game. And if you see here, we actually got to, I don't want to say pull a good victory, but definitely I just played behind my Tiny and constantly heal him. You see how I just went for Adrenalines here, and the reason why I did that is because they don't really have an initiator. They have the position 3 Weaver. So I wasn't really threatened by position 3 Weaver. You know, it's not like a Storm that's gonna jump me, Orchid me, and then just Vortex me and kill me. And of course, then I just went Force Up. I think Force Up is good to disengage my Tiny in case he actually gets caught in. Okay, what I want to show again is the strength of Omniknight right now, and I think it's a good example. Even though we actually died here, you see how I just want to show what's happened. You see how he just ganks up here, and it's only a level 2 Heavenly Grace. Even though we ended up dying here because more people actually rotated. We were rotated, so it's 4 heroes. I really want to show. I was really happy with the outcome, right? I want to show the Lena perspective. Look at that. Just because I got to, I think I debuffed something. I can't recall honestly. And look, he actually tanked up 1.5 HP only with level 2 Heavenly Grace. Too much sustain, just like Abaddon, which just turned up the fight, or at least we tried, right? And I think this is the most important thing, being on the correct place at the correct time, and you need to watch the map constantly if you get to play Omniknight. So I want to go and say my final thoughts about Omniknight, and hopefully that helps. So my final thoughts about Omniknight and the difference between Abaddon, right? So it goes with the meta, right? It has to do with the meta. What does this mean? Omniknight loves high health strength heroes that can benefit from Heavenly Grace. Okay, so a hero like Lifestealer, a hero like Tiny, a hero like Sven, he loves these type of heroes. He loves to play with them and to play against them because these type of heroes do not really buy Nullifier, and Nullifier is the item that hard counters Omniknight, right? Abaddon, on the other hand, loves heroes that has low cooldowns, constantly go in and out, disengage a lot, okay? So if you're like Phantom Assassin, if you're like Templar Assassin, maybe something like Anti-Mage that can just go in and out constantly, and versus heroes that apply a lot of debuffs. And you see how Heavenly Grace has a big cooldown, and for example, Abaddon, the Aphotic Shield, right, has a smaller cooldown, right? A smaller cooldown. Definitely, Abaddon, high tempo hero. Omniknight is more like a mid-game hero that, you know, you usually want to, you can actually pre-actively use Heavenly Grace if you want to sit, right? Both heroes are really good. In my opinion, I think Abaddon is still a better hero if you execute him, you know, if you execute at the same level. Stronger lane states, stronger late game where BKBs are a little bit lower, but definitely we're playing in the mid-game meta, and Omniknight is a mid-game hero. And of course, Tiny, Sven, Wraith King, Lifestealer, these type of heroes, high health strength heroes, is what you want to have with you when you have Omniknight. Hopefully that does make sense. Of course, before I close the guide, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and like and comment. This type of guides require a lot of time, a lot of editing that I actually suck, and a lot of coffee. That's the second one. So please do that. It actually helps me a lot and motivates me a lot. Hopefully I'm gonna see you on the next video.